You must be the only author who doesn't push his book. In the,
No,
in the
I
podcast.
haven't done a book release function, and my publisher is very upset that I don't do book releases. I tell them that my job is to write the book, your job is to sell the book. Don't ask me to do your job. Otherwise, please share your salary, and I'll start promoting my book. Otherwise, so anyways, no, this book is for you. But listen, I think more than the book, let me just talk about the phenomena I'm trying to address in this book. I genuinely, when I was growing up in Delhi, my panditji in the kitchen used to cook for us. My dadi, my dada, my nana, nani, my parents. Although my parents were very busy, they had 3 of us in 4 years, and all 3 of them were like me, so difficult to to manage. So they were busy managing us, but all the others were the storytellers who defined my life. Everyone else in the household, literally, contributed to who all 3 of us became, but certainly who I became. The stories of valor, of courage, of betrayal, of romance, stories of our heroes. They were all, of our epics, right? Mahabharata and Ramayana, and they were all told to us by this community of people who brought us up, and those were the stories that became my stories. Those are the stories that gave me a sense of my identity, of what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, my affiliation to my locality, my country, my people, my larger communities. Those are my stories. So I was just thinking that if I was growing up today, what would my stories be, and who would be telling me those stories?
Your reference points are all different.
Right? My single biggest storyteller would be Instagram. If I was a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 10-year-old, the single largest source of stories would be social media.
Yeah.
My stimulus would be, mobile games and video games and other, created by different cultures, different societies, different communities. My affiliations would be to protests happening overseas rather to the injustice happening in my neighborhood. My response to, say, what would happen in Paris would perhaps be stronger because of the greater comms I would probably have inherited from some ecosystems than to what was happening in Mumbai. So what does it do to the sense of your relationship with the land you were born to? My stories when I was growing up belonged to the land I was born to. My stories today may belong to land I have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
I would possibly identify with what was happening in Gaza more than what was happening in Bangladesh, and it's true.
Yeah.
You could actually take a straw poll.
Just the nature of your work.
And reach that conclusion.
Not work. General Indians.
So the point I'm trying to say is that if my stories were not from the locality and communities and the geography I was born to and belong to distant locations, then who am I? And hence I came up with this idea of something called geotechnography. That yes, we have an affiliation to the land even now, but yes, we are also influenced by what is happening in the cloud that we live in. We were born to a land, we live on the cloud, and both together shape our identity collectively. So geotechnography is that interplay between the cloud societies that all of us live in and the passports that we carry. It's in some sense a engagement between the two that is shaping foreign policy, that is shaping technology policy, that is shaping cultural policy. California laws on free speech apply to the entire world because American tech platforms use that particular principle, right?
Absolutely.
Right to offend somehow has now become okay everywhere in the world because America allows right to offend. It was never okay here. We were told that don't say these things. You should not mention this. When we were growing up, my grandmother and mother used to say, "Baba, ऐसा मत बोलो. ये चीज नहीं बोलते हैं.
मत बोलो."
ये मत
That
बोलो.
doesn't work
ऐसे बोलते हैं. ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए. आज के दिन तो right to offend has become okay because in America it is okay. Right? In a society as complex and layered as ours, as storied as ours, we were never meant to poke each other in the eyes. We were meant to maintain a certain degree
and wait for
of
your
Western
turn to
definitions
speak
of free
doesn't work.
speech.
So American.
Yeah, American,
because
Western,
Europe does not agree with America. That's why Europe has come up with their own pushback arrangements and
AI
acts and
regulation,
regulations.
all
right?
kinds of things, yeah.
Australia does not agree with the
Yeah,
Americans. So I'm saying, right? So the geotechnography is actually a question of the whole conception of sovereignty, nationhood, and citizenship in this digital age. And I think that's the big question of our times. If I remember Samuel Huntington had written in the 60s, early 70s, late 60s, a book, Political Order in Changing Societies. He had actually said that if change happens too fast, order collapses. And I think we are at that moment when change is happening so fast, cultural, social, economic.
We're all grappling with it.
And we are all grappling with it. All of us are struggling. And by the way, he had also mentioned that democratic societies have a harder time than, say, autocratic society. Of course, he
Yes.
was at that time referring to the Soviet system
Yes, yes.
versus the American
Yeah.
system. But you could argue that the Chinese versus the American societies today and their resilience to,
Yes.
external influence. So yeah, so the book is literally about how do we defend a rules-based order
Yeah.
when the defenders of the rules-based order want to weaken the single most important unit of the rules-based order, which is the nation-state. Somehow we are told that we must have a rules-based order, and somehow we are told nation-states are not important. The rules-based order was based on the recognition of the primacy of the nation-state as a fundamental political unit that would undergird any order of the future. So the same romantics who want the order also don't like the nation state that much, and don't like national identity and national cultures and national specificities. So it's interesting. It's a debate. And by the way, there's no one to blame. We are all
Yeah.
grappling with this
Yeah.
idea.
Grappling.
So it's just an exposition on the big questions of our times.
Do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.